Imagine a chimpanzee eating a peach. It gulps down huge chunks, swallowing effortlessly while still breathing. Now, look at a human sitting next to it. They swallow a tiny piece of peanut. It slips down the wrong pipe, and suddenly they are gasping for air, their face turning blue, fighting for their life. Isn't that bizarre? We are the most advanced, dominant species on the planet. We built spaceships and split the atom. Yet we are the only primates on Earth that can easily choke to death on a simple piece of food. In the animal kingdom, this is a terrible design. A throat that can instantly suffocate you is a massive evolutionary hazard. So why did natural selection keep such a fatal flaw? The answer is simple. We traded our safety for a superpower. We traded the ability to eat safely for the ability to speak. And the key to this trade-off is a tiny, mysterious bone floating inside your neck. Most people think other apes can't talk simply because they aren't smart enough. But that is only half the story. Take Coco the gorilla. She mastered over 1,000 sign language symbols, proving her mind could comprehend complex communication. But physically, she couldn't say a single word. That is because a chimpanzee or a gorilla's throat is built like a completely different machine. To produce the complex, rapid vowels and consonants of human speech, you need a highly specialized, incredibly flexible vocal tract. And at the heart of this tract is the hyoid bone. The hyoid is a strange U-shaped bone sitting just above your Adam's apple. What makes it unique is that it is a floating bone. It is the only bone in the human skeleton that does not touch any other bone. It is held in place purely by muscles and ligaments. In other primates, the hyoid bone sits much higher in the throat. This high position allows them to lock their epiglottis against their soft palate. This creates a separate, direct channel from their nose to their lungs, entirely sealed off from their mouth. They can drink water and breathe at the same time. Their food pipe and windpipe are completely separated. They almost never choke. But for humans to speak, evolution had to carry out a massive, highly dangerous remodeling of our throats. Over millions of years, as our ancestors stood upright and their skulls reshaped, the larynx, your voice box, along with the hyoid bone, descended lower down the neck. This descent did something brilliant. It created a large open chamber above the vocal cords, acting like a natural acoustic amplifier. This allowed us to shape air into incredibly precise, distinct vowels and consonants. But this anatomical remodel came with a terrifying catch. By dropping the larynx lower, our windpipe and our food pipe now cross paths. The entrance to your lungs sits directly next to the entrance to your stomach, separated only by a tiny flap-like valve called the epiglottis. If you swallow too fast, or if you try to talk while eating, that tiny valve fails to close in time. Food slips into your airway, completely sealing off your lungs. To become a talking ape, we had to dismantle our natural swallowing safety valve and live with the constant daily risk of suffocation. Of course, anatomy alone isn't enough to make us talk. We also needed the software. And that software is written into our DNA, specifically in a gene called FOXP2, often called the language gene. FOXP2 is a master regulator that controls the development of the complex neural pathways needed for fine-tuned mouth and tongue movements. While other animals have a version of FOXP2, humans have a unique mutated version that evolved relatively recently. This mutation gave us the ultra-precise, rapid-fire muscle control needed to coordinate our lips, tongue, and throat to produce up to 150 words per minute. But even with this genetic upgrade, the system is fragile. A tiny lag in coordination, and the food pipe and windpipe crossover becomes a deadly trap. This means that every time you speak, you are using a biological system that is constantly operating on the edge of disaster. Our ability to share ideas, tell stories, build civilizations, and connect with one another was paid for with the highest ticket price, the daily hazard of choking to death on our dinner. We are not a perfectly designed machine. We are a walking, talking compromise of evolutionary trade-offs. So the next time you take a bite of food, maybe take a second to appreciate the silent, high-stakes coordination happening inside your throat. And I am curious, if you could choose, would you rather keep your speech but live with the risk of choking, or trade it all back for the chimpanzee's perfectly safe choke, proof throat? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And for more stories about the strange, beautiful, and deeply weird engineering inside your own body, make sure to like and subscribe. See you in the next one.